गपशप जंक्शन में आज हमारे साथ हैं अमित घोष and he's an influencer. I have come across his story through Better India, and I am really impressed with what he's doing on social media. I mean, this is one of the instances, I would say, where social media is put to better use to better the society. Or he's working hard for acceptance of visibly different people in the society. He has uh, I mean, neurofibromatosis, NF1. He's is having this problem, and we don't know much about it. Though, as per the research, 1 in every 3,000 people are suffering from this. So, stage is all yours, Amit. I would like you to share I mean, what uh, is this NF1? How it has affected you, and how you have fought and come to the forefront with all the confidence and everything else in between.
Hi, yes, thank you for having me on Gupshup Junction. It's a pleasure to be here. Like you mentioned, neurofibromatosis is a very rare genetic condition that causes tumors to grow on nerves. They can grow anywhere in the body. For some people, it's very sort of minute, and they'll have a few spots on their hands, on their chest, on their legs. For others, it could be far worse. For me, the tumors predominantly grew on the left side of my face. They also grew internally in certain parts of my body, like near my spine, at the back of my head, resulting in me losing my eye when I was 11 years old. So the doctors had to surgically remove my eye when I was 11, and I had an empty eye socket going to school. And you can imagine how challenging going to school with an eye patch could be. But yeah, these are all the challenges that have led me up to where I am today, creating content. What I like to do is share my lived experiences, everything that's happened to me in terms of dealing every day with this condition, psychologically, physically, mentally, putting all that together and trying to create content every day on how to help, support, and inspire people, educate people, make people more aware that being visibly different doesn't necessarily mean that you're different. We're all different in our own way. We're all beautiful in our own way. We've all got our own personality traits, and what I want to do is help people highlight their personality. So that's the journey I'm on, and that's where I am now, and I think that's how we've come across each other.
Yeah. Okay. As I mean, society is changing now. Definitely, there is acceptance of things which were not normal earlier. But when you were small, I mean, children I know are real bullies.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah,
did you
they're
handle
very fun.
that time? I mean, when you were young, and
Mm.
the support your parents have given, and even the siblings. I mean, sibling rivalry is something. So how did you
Well,
handle
let me start
that?
with school. Let me answer your question about school first and school children. At the age of 7, 8, you don't know what depression and anxiety is. But I definitely know now, looking back, that I was going through those emotions. I was depressed. I was anxious. I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to hide. When I was in school, I wasn't making friends. People didn't want to come and sit next to me. Some because they were curious, others because they were scared. And there were some who just thought if they're friends with me, nobody else will be their friend. So people just avoided me. I sat alone. I sat with a support teacher, and it was very, very, very challenging. And throughout sort of lower school, I struggled every single day. Academically, I wasn't thriving because mentally I wasn't fit. I wasn't doing very well. I wasn't getting the right results. But I knew in my head something had to change. I knew I had to do something. And as every Indian boy or every Asian boy, I used to love the game cricket as a child, as everyone does. And I used to come home every day and play by myself. My dad had bought me some stumps, and I'd bowl to the stumps for like 2 hours every single day until my father would tell me off and say, "You need to come and do some homework." So one day I was walking out of school, and a group of boys were playing cricket, And I really wanted to have a ball. So I went and said to them, can I have a ball? And they looked at me funny, they laughed, they said no. And I said, look, no, please let me have one ball, please. And they were laughing and they were like, this is gonna be funny. This funny guy is gonna have a ball. So they give me the ball. And I used to do pace bowling. So I took a run up, I looked at the ball, I looked at the seam, and the batsman was like holding the bat with one hand, chatting to all the other boys, thinking, what's he going to do? And I came running up. I did my run up. I bowled the ball and it pitched outside his off stump and he swung and he missed. And then everyone just stopped and stared at me. And then the wicketkeeper was like, okay, do it again. So he threw me the ball. And then I did it again. Same ball. He missed. And then in my head, I thought, you know what? I'm going to bowl a Yorker. I'm going to bowl at his toes and I'm going to get him out. So I went back and at this point I was trying to enjoy myself. So I stared at his toes. I run up, bowled the ball, hit the stump, and I got him out. And suddenly, the very next day, the physical education teacher saw it and he said, why don't you join the cricket club? I joined the cricket club. I joined the cricket team, and I went from Amit, the guy with the funny face, to Amit, the guy who plays cricket. And that's the shift. That's the shift, that when you let your personality shine, when you let things you enjoy out, you suddenly, it changes everything. And that changed everything for me. At home, life was great. My family were very, very supportive. My father was extremely supportive. Like when I started playing cricket, a lot of the relatives were like, look, why are you letting him play cricket? He's already got these medical conditions. What if he gets injured? What if he hurts himself? What if, what if it makes it worse? And my father was like, if my boy wants to play cricket, he will play cricket. He went to India and bought me a really nice bat. He bought me all the equipment from here. So that encouragement really helped me, because if my father was, he almost treated me like I didn't have this condition. Like, he went to all the appointments with me and helped me medically. But when it came to the sort of the mental support, he never even spoke to me about the condition. It was like it didn't exist, which is why it normalized it for me so much. Like when I deal with my condition now, it's almost like I don't have it. I'll go and do every adventure that I can. I'll go and meet with everyone I can. I'll put myself forward wherever I can, because in the back of my head, it's completely normal for me. I'm just another human being. So that was a support, and my siblings were absolutely amazing. They were sort of exactly the same way, that they wouldn't let this be a condition. They just, like my sister, who lives in India now, we used to fight just as normally as every other sibling would fight. She would come, I'd be watching TV, she would come and change the channel, then I'd throw the remote at her, she'd throw the pillow at me, and then my parents would start shouting. I remember one day we were chasing each other, and between the living room and the kitchen was like a glass door, and she went in and she shut the glass door, and I tried to open it, and I pushed the door, and I went straight through the glass. And I've still got marks on my hand from that injury. But my dad was like, you know what? I'm not taking you to hospital. It was your fault. You put some plaster on. So it was that kind of thing. If I didn't have that, if I was sugar coated, if I was, if they wrapped me up in a cotton wool, then I would have never been able to express myself the way I am today. So I think that's the beauty of it.
Actually, your father was so, accepting the idea and treating you as a normal child. That makes all the difference. So I
That
would
makes all the difference.
definitely, give lots of credit to your family, actually, because they have
Yeah.
created a normal environment for you at home.
Yes, exactly. And anyone listening who have children, siblings, a lot of people have messaged me on Instagram and stuff saying, "Oh, my brother has this condition." Anyone who wants to know how to deal with it, the best way to deal with it is to keep it as normal as possible. Include your brother, your child, whoever has a condition, in everything you're doing, in any activity, in anything you're doing. Keep them involved, make them feel as if they're quote unquote normal.
Yes, right. So I would like you to, give us little information about NF1, so that if, people should be aware about this issue.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So
people, ignore it.
sorry.
So they should go to the
Yeah.
doctor.
Early signs of NF1 is you'll get these small patches on. So as a child, when a child is born, I've got one here. So you have these coffee colored spots on your body. And if you've got more than, let's say, 5 or 6, some people will have 1 or 2, but if you've got more than 5 or 6 on your body, then that is an early sign of neurofibromatosis. So they're called cafe lie spots. If you see those spots on your child, on your baby, then I'll definitely say go and consult a doctor and mention, can you test for neurofibromatosis? And they can do some tests there, and then they can identify where those tumors are. Having those tumors removed early reduces the risk of them growing even faster, because the nature of the condition is I've had 23 surgeries in my life, and I will continue to have surgeries as I grow older, because the tumors always grow back. So they'll remove the tumor and it will go down a little bit, but then it will grow back. So then they'll have to do another surgery. So that's the nature of the condition, and that's how the condition keeps growing.
And is it painful?
It can be extremely painful. I said I've got some tumors growing near my spine. So what it does is the tumors push my spine, so I get a lot of bone pain. Here I get a lot of pain on my face, the back of my eye. So it can be extremely painful. But for me, because I've lived with this now, 33 years, you kind of learn to live with it. You kind of learn to accept it and just deal with it. But some days are very, very painful.
I can see many, Lata Mangeshkar and who is fond of music? You sing also?
I love me and my brother love music. We don't sing, but we play a lot of percussion music instruments. My brother plays the tabla. I play the tabla. I play drums, and we listen to a lot of music. We love music. So we've got we've got RD, Lata, Kishore Kumar, Mr. Fateh Ali Khan, Ghulam Ali, Ravi Shankar. We've got all of them on there.
Okay, good.
We've got Zakir Hussain as well, because my brother loves playing tabla.
So you were born in India and then went to UK, or you were?
I was born in India. I was born in India in a small town called Assam. Small town called Silchar in Assam. Excuse me. So born in Silchar, and they realized when I was about 2 years old that my face is slightly swollen, and they thought I might have had a trip or a fall or something. So they went to the local doctors. The local doctors saw me in the town. They said that this seems like it's something else. It doesn't seem like it's a trip or a fall. Our advice is go to Delhi, go and get it checked out. So we went to New Delhi with my mom. My dad was in England at this time, living in England, and they immediately said that this is tumors that are growing on nerves and it needs to be dealt with. And they said that we don't know how expensive treatment will be. We don't know how effective treatment will be. It's something very new to us. So at that point, my dad decided that the best thing to do will be to bring my family to England. So we all uprooted and came to England. Now you can imagine my oldest sibling, my oldest sister, was 15 years old at that time. My brother was 10, and my other sister was 7 or 8. So they were in their life, going to school, college, doing everything. So for them to stop that and come to England was very, very challenging for them. And there was certain remorse at that time, at least, that, oh, we're having to go to England because of our younger brother. And for them, it was very challenging because they had to learn the culture, the English language. For me, I went to nursery. I started my life. It's almost as if I was born here. But for them, they had to reconfigure their life completely.
So, I mean, you were having challenges when you were dealing with people because of this visibly being having a visibly different face. How did you know, affected you, and when did you start accepting yourself? And
It's
how
never
things change when you started accepting yourself? I mean,
It's never easy, Neerja. It's never easy. A lot of people ask me, how do you do it? And I tell them that a lot of it starts with the self. It starts with you. And for me, it started with me. I knew that I can't change the way I look. So there's other things that I have to focus on. And one of the earliest things unknowingly was that first cricket ball that I bowled. And I use it as an analogy whenever I'm at a talk, whenever I go and do a talk, or I do a speech, I say, go and bowl your first ball. until you take that leap, until you bowl your first ball, you will never come out of that comfort zone. Sometimes being insecure, being upset, or lacking confidence, you kind of get comfortable with it. Even though it's uncomfortable, you feel as if this is who I am, you accept that identity, but it's not. You're a lot more. I tell people to write down 3 things about themselves that they are good at, that they enjoy, that they like. If you write those 3 things down, then you start focusing on those 3 things. Slowly but surely, you will come out of it. People say to me, but it's easier to say it than do it. And I say, yes, it is easier to say it than do it. But you have to start with the self. You have to accept yourself. You have to love yourself. We live in a society, Neerja, where everyone is looking for validation from other people. They're posting a photo online and they're waiting for likes. They're waiting for comments. They're waiting to see how the world validates them. But what we need to do is firstly validate ourselves, firstly like ourselves and love ourselves. So it's about self-love. It's about self-acceptance. Once you do that, then you can start opening your personality up. And since I accepted myself, since I learned to discover myself and love myself, I've become a better human being. I've become more open. Before, I used to hide this face. I used to take photographs like this on this side. I used to hide behind, even there's some photographs on Instagram now where you can see I'm hiding behind my wife's face, and I'm only showing the left-hand side of my face. But since being on this journey of opening up and talking about my condition and trying to help others, I've opened up a lot more. And now I say, this is me, take it or leave it, Yeh main hu. And agar acha lage, then stay with me. Agar nahi acha lage, then that's fine with me, It's okay. I don't want any fake people. I want real people around me.
Very, very true, very true. And moreover, with social media, things, they all only show the prettiest of the things, which
Yeah,
they
exactly.
just
And
want
this
to show.
this
So
is a big point, Nirja, all over the world, and I want to. My ambition is to come to India someday and talk in schools, colleges, universities about confidence, about self-love and acceptance, but also create some change in media. I think Bollywood, Hollywood, they have a big role to play in normalizing visible differences. We need more characters in movies and films who are shown positively with a visible difference. You think of all the Bond films, all the Bond villains have a scar on their face. Why is that? We're not all born fearing people with visible differences. We're not all born learning that people with visible differences are to be scared of, or whatever. It's movies, it's media that creates that fear, and I think they can do a big job.
yes,
Hope
they
contribute.
do that. Very, very right, very right. Okay, so as you have mentioned that you have got married, how is the relationship between, I mean, uh, you two along with the society, the people around you?
I think my wife has helped me immensely open up and become more of who I am. She plays a huge role. When we started talking, we used to talk on camera. So we used to talk through video calling because she was in India, I was in England. So what I used to do is talk to her, and I used to hide half of my face. So I'd show her this side of my face. And one day she said to me, Amit, if I marry you, I'm not going to marry half of your face. I'm going to marry all of you. So stop showing me half of your face and just show me all of you, because I accept who you are. I accept all of you. And that taught me to accept all of me. So that was a beautiful, beautiful moment. Her family were really, really against us getting married, completely against. When they found out that me and her were talking, her father was like, this cannot happen. There's no way. Ye nahi ho sakta. Log kya kahenge? It's the same old log kya kahenge? Samaj kya kahega? And there was no way that they just accepted it at all. And to the point where they were bringing Rishta at home to get her married to somebody else. And she was saying, I don't want to get married just for getting married. I want to marry this person because I accept him and I love him, and I know, I've seen in the side of him that other people haven't seen. And that was what taught me to be in more love with myself than I was before. And one day she said to her family that, look, I can get married to whoever you want me to marry, but can you promise me that they will never have an accident or a miss happen where something will happen to them? They will lose, they'll have a motorbike accident and hurt their leg or something. Can you promise that? just because this person was born with this condition, why are we punishing him when, I could marry somebody and they could have a bus accident, a train accident, whatever, and injure themselves.
What a
And
beautiful thought.
they then succumb to the fact that, okay, let's get them married, but nobody came to the wedding. They said, he can get married, but nobody's going to come to the wedding. They came, only her father and her brother only came to the wedding until we did the kanyadan and everything, and then they went. We didn't go back and do the vidai properly. We were in a mandir, and every Indian girl has a big dream of having a big, beautiful wedding. Unfortunately, she didn't get that because everyone was worried about what log kya kahenge, and it was a very, very small, intimate wedding. But we're happy now she's here, and the same people that were doubting us then are now looking at us on Facebook, on Instagram, and some probably are jealous of the happiness we have. And I hope, nazar na lage, I hope we stay happy and we stay blessed.
You will be. इसके साथ ही मैं एक चीज, सॉरी, ये कहना चाहूंगी कि ये जैसे द टेंशन, आई मीन द प्रॉब्लम्स व्हिच यू हैव फेस्ड and the things, are you able to, I mean, judge that things are changing as you have started on your journey of sharing?
Things are changing, but people are still very skeptical. Like, people say to my wife, oh, you married him for the money, you married him for the passport, you married him to move to England. You didn't, people are still not accepting of people with visible differences that can go and get married or have a normal life. People haven't still accepted that. In India, the premise of an arranged marriage is photographs being exchanged. So, ladke wale ladki ko photo dikhayenge, ladke wale ladke ko photo dikhayenge, and that is the first step. Agar photo pasand aaye, then we'll go to the next step.
Yes,
it should be, agar if the ladka is a good guy, if he's got good credentials, if he's a nice person, then we should go to the next stage. And until, I mean, that I don't know, that will never change. I think that's just the tradition and the culture and how things
changing.
are.
It's slow process, but things are changing. But
Yeah,
society changes very slowly.
society does change very slowly, but we need to raise our voice, and we need to
Yes,
start talking
right.
about it. And the more we talk about it, the more people will start to think about it. And I think, these social media companies and what you're doing as well is amazing. It's going to give us that voice then to resonate with everyone else. You're only going to help me amplify my voice in India with your listeners. So thank you for that.
Yeah, this is my actually thought that this is something which really, touched my heart when I saw your first, your story on this website. I just loved your willpower, your strength, and your commitment to the cause.
No, thank you so much.
Okay, so one more thing which I would like to ask you, since somebody who has so much of involvement in action on for the cause, there must be something more to it. I mean, can we expect a book on your experiences?
Maybe someday. I think it's still very early days to get someone to read a book on me or my experiences, but as I do always collect information and I always write. In fact, talking about that, I'm in the process of writing a book for children called Born Different, and it's going to be recollecting my first few days in school and how I dealt with that, and then how I let cricket embrace me. So I'm writing a book on that, and I'm speaking to some publishers about getting that published. So do watch this space, and something might be coming soon.
I think you are doing the right thing to write the book for the children, because that is where the foundation of acceptance sets in. So this is
Exactly.
really, I mean, a good thought. Okay, tell me what we as a community can do for.
As a community, I think it's more just talking about the right things, learning. Like I said at the start, it starts with self. If there's anything that your listeners can take away today, I would say that they should take away: learn to love yourself, learn to accept yourself, and learn about yourself. before we try and learn about other people, a lot of people are looking for a relationship. They can't find a relationship. A lot of the people are having struggles at work because they're not confident. A lot of people are having struggles in their family because they've got insecurities. All these things stem from self, be it confidence at work, relationship, or family. If we start with the self, if we serve the self first, we can then work on others. We need to water our own plant before trying to water others. So if there's anything that your listeners can take away, I would say, and I only learned this in my journey. It's not, and I always say I'm no motivational speaker. I'm no confidence coach. I haven't studied some books and become some kind of guru. I just speak from my experiences. I speak from things I've dealt with, and I want to help support and inspire people.
And you speak from your heart, Amit. You don't know that.
Thank you
That
so
is
much.
why what you say is very, it touches heart. It is very effective.
Thank
So
you.
with this note and good wishes to you, and I would like to read a quote which you have said somewhere, and I really loved it, and I'm looking forward to if when this will happen. The day I see Oscars hosted by someone with a visible difference, I will feel my journey is a success. Thank you so
Yes,
much, Amit, for being on Gupshup Junction.
that's beautiful. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.